Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Connect, Share, Prosper. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, Chaz Wilson. Hello, Chaz.
Hey, Chris. How are you, man?
Hey, good. Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you.
Yeah, I like it. I love New Year's, man. It's always like it's like a fresh start. I don't know why it takes a calendar to tell me that, but there is something that happens mentally for me.
Yeah.
With the New Year. So.
No, I agree. I think there's a little bit of that, a reset, it's a starting time. It's a time to start and launch from. Yeah. So I think everyone enjoys that. Although I'm always been one that just has constant things moving. So
yeah. Right.
Maybe not like I'm not a big New Year's resolution guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm always in that constant improvement place. So I get those. I get New Year's resolutions, but they're not a big thing for me.
Yeah. Well, I think with that comes like I think for a lot of people, we're like, well, it is 2019. There are some very tangible things that shift, like our books change for the year, like our, accounting changes for the year. We typically will plan out our quarterly goals or things like that. So what I'm curious about is, like you said, you're super busy. So how do we kick the year off? You've kicked multiple years off over time. So what have you learned about kicking off the year?
Yeah. First things first, of course, is having a plan. So hopefully I've already done that plan, but if not, it's not too late, right? The year's just started. I can get that plan in place. And I'm a big numbers guy, so I break down my goals and put them on my 135 GPS, which I talk about in 5+1.
Yep.
And we've talked about in previous episodes. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to the episode on the 135 business plan. Definitely go back and do that. The other thing is then I take that goal, and I mentioned this in the previous, is I divide it by 10. And this is important to kick my year off right. Partially because I just ended a previous year. And in many cases, we recently just did a workshop where we had a group of people in towards the end of the year, and almost no one in that room had actually met their goal. And one of the things we all discovered was divided it by 12. They did it on a 12-month calendar, right? The 12-month calendar, when they divided it on the 12-month calendar, they didn't leave themselves any room, right? They didn't leave themselves any room to hit that goal. So that's an important thing. Divide it up by 10.
And give me an example of that. So the goal being like what, a dollar number, or the goal being like what?
Yeah. So typically I do it on an amount of revenue I want to bring in by the end of the year, but so I always give myself room, right?
Okay.
So that leads me into the second thing. Once I've set that and divided it out by 10, the next thing I do is I go in and I take the time off that I'm looking for. So vacations, time off, those kinds of things. It's amazing to me how many years I went without doing that at the beginning of the year. I just would like, oh man, I'm burnt out. I need a vacation. I would look for time to take off instead of just planning that way in advance.
I gotta ask on that one, because I feel like, so I'm that person right now. I'm the one who's like, I don't know. That feels weird for me to be like, I'm going to know that I want time off here. And it's like I feel like taking time off is about recovering, but I'm like, well, how would I know if I need to recover on that time at that time? And what am I going to do? Like, how do I bridge that gap?
Yeah. So for me, it's actually the wrong question. The way you said it too was always the way I said, how will I know if I need that time off? And the reality is I don't know. In fact, I always go and I don't take the time off. So you won't know because you're so busy you're in production and you're going.
Right.
And so I plan those things, not because so much for recovery, because the truth of the matter is, and most people listening to this probably feel similarly, I'm not a big take time off guy, which is why we're productive and we get results, right? Because we're in production. So I'm not a big time off. In fact, it takes me 2 or 3 days to even get to that place where I'm checked out of business. So, but there's other people in my life and they
That's good.
Want that time, right? And I want to be with them. Mm-hmm. And so it's more of a check-in than a check-out. And I'm checking in with them and being with them in that space. But it allows them to know when we have that time to do that and what we might do. The other part of it too, and I loved a podcast I listened to from Ed Mylett, Mylett. And he talks about blissful dissatisfaction. I know I mentioned it on a previous episode, but I loved the phrase because it's a place to be blissful and celebrate my successes, but be dissatisfied in the sense that I'm always looking to go further and do more. But if I never take the time to be blissful and take the time off and the time to celebrate, I'm always dissatisfied with where I am and trying to hit that goal. So for me, that's why it's important to set that at the beginning of the year.
It's really good. Yeah. Okay.
The other thing too, so again, it's having the plan. I divide it by 10. I take the time off, right? And then I am deliberate about that calendar in setting it out. And so here's the other thing I would say. Number 3, I try to create really quick wins early in the year.
Okay.
And for me, it's really important. And I was just talking to my team about this. I'm like, guys, first of the year here, we gotta create some early wins. Because as you create early wins, it does a couple of things. It, number 1, helps you feel like you're accomplishing towards your goal.
Yeah.
Number 2, it gives you a tremendous amount of confidence. And I think this is the case. I actually think very successful people often choreograph really quick wins for the psychological reason of their path to their goal. So set the plan, take your time off, get that on your calendar, and then choreograph some quick wins early in the year.
Give me an example of a quick win. Like how do I choreograph that?
Yeah, actually perfect. So when I met with a team member of mine on the sales team, I said, okay, let's go through your pipeline. 10 or 12 people were on this pipeline. And I said, okay, who do you think if you called today is the closest to saying yes? Well, these 2. Okay, why have they not said yes thus far? And then we role played some of those objections. And one of them being pricing, right? Price of the program, the coaching program is this. I said, okay, great. Instead of cutting our price, which it's a bad idea to always cut your price. I think then it's a race to the bottom, whole other segment, right? Probably do that as another segment sometime. But what I said was, okay, now let's go add more value and give a sense of urgency to this offer, and let's get one done today. And it's just sort of that posturing, that mindset, like instead of pushing it off, I'm going to get it done today.
Yeah.
And what's cool is one of those 2 said yes. And now here we go, right? We're off to a great start.
Nice. I love it. Yeah.
Now the other one said no, but here's the cool part. I'm like, now they're out.
Yeah.
Instead of pushing it down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I love that. I know you're a sports guy. I was a sports kid growing up. And a lot of times getting momentum on your side in a game is a game changer. And so I love the idea of having early wins, because if you can shift the momentum in your year, starting out in January, it's going to be an awesome year.
Yeah. And like in sports, I coached high school football. I was an offensive coordinator for years. And often we scripted the first series and we put our highest percentage plays. Particularly I played quarterback in high school and college too. And, there's a rhythm and a momentum for a quarterback. And so what are the highest percentage passes I can get to my playmakers, get the ball in their hands, rhythm, quick passes, quick 3-step drops, those kinds of things to create the wins and the feeling of success.
Yeah.
But man, you see it all the time, especially in the game of football. Somebody comes out and they fumble the first snap, or they fumble the kick return, or whatever. They throw a pick on the first play. It's like, ooh, it's tough to recover. And so that's my point for my team. Orchestrate, choreograph a successful play right out of the gate.
That's so good. Yeah, I love that. That's killer. That's a great place to end. Let's end there, because I think you guys listening to this have enough now to go create the plan, schedule your time off, your check-in time, and then go choreograph your play for quick wins. I love it. So good. Chaz, if people want to learn more about working with you as a coach, your coaching company, or even checking out Master Networks, where can they go?
Yeah, so go to my website, chazwilson.com. If you're listening to this, make sure you go to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe and get notified, because when these episodes come out, you get notified, and then you'll also get notified on all the other things we do. I put out training videos throughout the week as well, and it's just free content. So go get that. Let me be the voice in your ear this year.
Yeah, I love it. Everybody needs a good mentor, so that's a great way to get mentored by Chaz, is just to subscribe to the channel. So awesome, Chaz. Thanks for your time today. We'll catch you in the next episode.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Be well.